Tauck, having you come in today to talk directly to travel agents is really a great opportunity for agents to learn how to sell river cruising to first-time buyers. And I think as Tauck, you've even put out a booklet entitled How to Sell to a First-Time Buyer, yes?
We have, and actually the First-Time River Cruise Guide is fabulous for travel agents to order for their clients. And we positioned it so that it is client-friendly, because a lot of times clients are not quite sure what they want to do. They want to go to Europe. Maybe they've mass market cruised before. Maybe they've done all-inclusive holidays before in the Caribbean, and they want to go to Europe, but they don't necessarily want to do that packing and unpacking. So river cruising is a great option.
Now, as Tauck, you of course have a huge loyalty factor of people who understand the land that you sell.
Absolutely.
And that becomes great leverage, of course, because once they experience Tauck, they want to keep being on Tauck. And I've heard that many times, I have to say, when I've been on your river cruises, where of course the clientele is married to that Tauck experience.
Right.
And I want you to help agents understand, what does that mean? When you're on board the ship, what really is that Tauck experience?
Well, I think it's all the little extras that we provide, and like I said, the service levels. We do have so much included on the land portion, and that's what Tauck's about. You know, 90 years ago, we started on land, and we have evolved into river cruising and also small ship cruising, but it's our land product. So where you are going to have those experiences, example, going into Vienna, we take passengers into the Palace of Pallavicini for a beautiful white glove dinner, and you know, also a little bit of opera and ballet and stuff like that in this, you know, gorgeous castle that Beethoven and Mozart played in. So we have that. Or they could be in the Camargue, and we take them to a ranch for the afternoon, and they get to visit the family and everything about that, and also have lunch and entertainment included. So I think that's what it's about. It's not just about the ship. That's your mode of transportation, being a beautiful boutique ship, but it's about the land, and it's about what we provide passengers on that day-to-day basis with our Tauck directors, with the local guides, having everything included, having options, but options that are included that you choose, which do I want to do? You know, we have a new itinerary where we are going to be going into Stuttgart that day, and you know, I might have a problem with this, because do I go wine tasting or do I go to the Porsche Museum? It's a real tough call in some cases.
Oh, I think I know which one I would pick.
So, you know, we have options for everyone on a day-to-day basis, activity levels as well as what you want to do, and having our director staff there. Sometimes passengers may want to do their own thing, and that's where it's having that bonus of having the extra hands-on, you know, Tauck people that are there to be able to help you, you know, go venture off and do what you want to do on your own. Maybe it's just a bike ride or whatever it is.
I think it's really important to understand it's not a mass market product.
Absolutely not.
No. And that leads us to the E word.
The E word.
That it is perceived as being somewhat more expensive.
Expensive?
And I think we should address that head on, because as I recall, pricing is, if you compare all the components.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's talk about that.
Expensive. Well, you know what, I think with the Tauck product, when you open up the brochure, you see that the price point of it would be more than others. So what I encourage you to do as agents, if you had passengers that came back from a cruise and they purchased shore excursions, and they had, you know, extra for wine and extra for tipping and things like that, and you asked them to provide their visa bill to you and add that to the price of the, you know, itinerary that you provided to them, chances are we're going to be less expensive or comparable, and the stress wouldn't have been there, because they wouldn't have had to decide on what do we want to do today, and you know, do I buy this, do I buy that. You know, what we provide is we want you to be able to go on vacation and sit back and relax. We have enough stress in all of our lives, so it's really nice to be able to go on a vacation and to be able to sit back and do that. I always position ourselves, I'm going to go back to the car market. You know, a lot of people think maybe Mercedes-Benz is very expensive, and I think Tauck's a lot like it. The value that we have, we're not expensive, and when you break that down on a per-day basis, and I encourage you to do that, and I encourage you to, you know, reach out to even your national account managers, and we do have some trainings as well that will show you on a per-day basis we're comparable or less expensive, and there's so much more included. So a couple of bonuses for you. Number one, you're making commissions on everything. Number two, there's more than 100 cost components that are in there, which is the value add for your clients. So pick up that first timer's guide. Pick up the river sales manual that's out there just for you for travel agents, which will show some comparables that are in there, because it's ultimately your job to match the client to the right product. We don't want you putting somebody on our product that's not supposed to be on our product. So, you know, and I'm sure other operators would say the same thing. And the reason why is we want them to repeat, we want them to come back, and we want your next sale to be an easy one. And that's something that Tauck's, you know, reputation has, that our repeat factor is phenomenal.
You've done this before.
Yes.
Really well said, Jackie. Really, but before I let you go, I think it's also really, really important, and as someone who has experienced it, not as the supplier, but as a cruiser, I think it's really important to talk to travel agents about the ambiance. Because what ends up happening is it's such an intimate environment that you get to know the people. There's a very interesting quality of people, I think, that choose Tauck. There's a level of perhaps education and intelligence that is brought to the mix. And I've had the most fascinating conversations. It's a club-like atmosphere, and it just really adds to the overall experience.
You know what, it does. And we even moved into the market of multi-generational travel. And, you know, you might find other itineraries out there that just say it's family friendly. We actually have 3 itineraries that we have choreographed for families, for multi-generational, because we're finding now that grandparents don't want to wait till they pass away to, you know, pass the money on. So they would rather have that experience with all of their families, and we're finding that multi-generational travel is so great now and becoming bigger and better. And Tauck's got that on our river boats on the Inspiration class. We're the only line that does take triples and quads in our suites, and that's why we have 22 suites on board on our Inspiration class, and that's a great option for those with families. And the ambiance that you will even find with families is, you know, the kids have traveled before, and now they want to experience more in Europe, and this is, again, a great way for families to do so and take that stress away from them.
Brilliant. I think I could even sell a Tauck River cruise now.
Very good.
I feel well equipped. Thank you, Jackie. That
You're
was
welcome.
really very educational. Appreciate it.
No problem.